Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I figured I'd give you guys something I know so many of you have been asking for, and that is some actual B12 Nissan Sentra content. And seeing as I am the most popular, most prolific, largest B12 Nissan Sentra content creator on the internet, not that it's a very hard bar to beat considering only a couple people in Mexico and maybe 1 or 2 people in Sri Lanka even know about this car's existence and still actually care about this thing. Well, at least I'm number one. At least I'm number one. Okay guys, so today we're installing coilovers, or more of kind of just cleaning and adjusting the coilers that are already on my car. To answer everybody's question right now, here's what they are. They are Rev 9 B13 coilovers. The B12 and the B13 both have a McPherson strut system, so you can use B13 suspension components. That includes if you want to go with a BC coilover, if you want to go with Godspeed. These are the cheapest on Amazon. There's a link in the description to the exact coilovers I'm using. They bolt right up. The only thing you need to do is you're going to need to either zip tie your brake line to the brake line bracket on the coilover, or you're going to have to make your own brake line bracket. For the longest time I had them zip tied. Now I've got a new bracket which I'll show in today's video, but they bolt right up, front and rear. As long as you have McPherson struts on all 4 corners. If you have a B11, this will not work. They have a split design in the rear. And here's where we run into a little problemo. Because my coilovers are absolutely maxed and we live in the Pacific Northwest with lots of rain and dirt, well, all the collars are seized. And I have a couple of spare collars, so please excuse my monkeying right here. This is not what I would do if I didn't have spares. As you can see, we're struggling. Blast a little bit of that PP blaster in there, let that sit for a minute. While that's sitting, I like to clean up the flange of the hub, get the rust off. I do the same on the inside surface of the rotor and the outside surface. Just make sure that everything, when it's mated together, is nice and flat. After the PP blaster is set for a little bit, I summon my inner Mario and grab a pipe wrench and just eat the thing, and then it breaks loose finally. reassembling the coilover. Now, even if you have new coilovers, I'd recommend doing this part because oftentimes the factory will set the spring preload like all the way max just for shipping, and you want to make sure all 4 of your coilovers have the same amount of preload on the spring. This is also because this is what you measure your ride height off of, and it's not gonna be good. Make sure everything's set the same. So here's what you're going to do. There are 3 collars on your coilover. One is to lock the actual mount that locks to the knuckle, and that is for ride height. You have another collar and another collar. These are what you do for your preload. So loosen the 2 top collars all the way so the spring is loose and dangling around, and then snug up the larger collar just until it touches the spring. Then zip up the smaller collar, and I like to use a piece of tape to hold this in place to make sure it doesn't move at all or spin. And then refer to your manufacturer's specification for the amount of spring preload. Oftentimes it's usually the width of the spanner or 5 millimeters, but there's a range. You can do whatever your coilovers specify. For these Rev 9s, they say about the width of the spanner or 5 mil. So then we are going to tighten that larger collar up until you can fit the spanner between the small collar and the larger collar. After you can do
another siren in my mind. I can't decide if I was dreaming or alive. Something circling the water where I'm swimming. Smoking weed, starting to is it really girl, I'ma tell you what's next. I can play the rope filler if you really want that. I could be the one that you're gonna wanna want back. Even if I read into it deep, I got the combat ready on lock for you. I'm watching all the clocks, but the top could be fucking stop for you. I'll write the plot for you.
We might be a little high. Let's see what happens with the other side. Boy, that's all suspension travel.
Let me record myself first.
No! Okay, we have quite a bit to go. We also gotta get it to settle though. To adjust your ride height, say you want to raise it or you want to lower it, all you need to do is jack the car back up, take the wheels off, and what you're going to do is you're going to break loose the most bottom collar on the coilover. It's the one that's locking it to the actual mount that goes to the knuckle. Once that's broken loose, you can grab the whole spring assembly and spin that whole assembly in the car. You'll see the threaded shaft either come up through the knuckle mount or go down through the knuckle mount. You don't want to touch the two top collars, that's your preload, but grab that whole assembly, spin that bad boy up or down depending on if you want to raise or lower your car. Once both sides are even, lock the bottom collars down, drop it back down, and then obviously repeat again if you need to. But yep, this is the new wheel and tire setup. I went with a larger profile, I went with a narrower wheel as well as smaller in diameter. I want this car to handle a bit better, so we also have sway bars and polyurethane bushings coming in a future video, but sadly the Stancy Boy era is long gone. We're no longer rocking a bunch of camber, we're not tucking tire no more. For some of you guys, we're monster trucking. To me, you know, I like it. It's good where it's at. So that is how you can lower or raise your B12 Nissan Sentra. Again, everything will be linked in the description, the coilovers, as well as a couple tools I used. Thank you guys so much for watching the B12 Nissan Sentra content. There'll be some more videos, so make sure to subscribe for that. That's about all I have for you guys today. Peace.